Hi everyone, welcome to our live session on mastering the art of public speaking. I am Neha Agrawal. I'm an academic communication expert and founder of Wise Up Communications, and I'm going to be a facilitator for this session. So, before we get into the topic of public speaking, there's an important announcement that I'd like to make that from 15th September onwards, we are conducting our last batch for this year on our communication skills course. So, the topic is accomplishing effective communication. It's a 5-week certification course where we cover all different aspects of communication. So, if you wish to learn how to master the art of public speaking, if you wish to learn how to write formal emails, communicate confidently in your interviews, and if you want to learn how to prepare for GDs very well, deliver your presentations confidently, well, then this course is for you. So it's starting on 15th of September. We're going to have sessions every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And in these sessions, we'll be talking about basically training you and giving you all the tips and techniques how to work on these skills. And then over the weekends, we'll come together and we'll be practicing as well. Because communication skills is something where you do need a lot of practice. And without practice, you cannot improve your English speaking skills. So if you wish to learn more about this course, I'm putting the link here in the chat box for all of you to see. Okay. In fact, it's also linked in the description below, and I will be putting it in the pinned comment as well. All right. So you can check it out. Okay. One second. Hello. Hi. Yes. So I've put it in the chat box, and the link is not right. I think I've put three keys. So now coming to the topic of public speaking. So, well, public speaking itself is very nerve wracking, right? And it's very difficult to start working on your public speaking skills. But there are two things that you should do. First is getting some tips, getting some techniques, which is something that I'm going to share with you today. And then after that, you need to practice. When both these things go hand in hand, then there's nothing stopping you from becoming a very confident public speaker. All right. So before we even get into the tips, let's understand why is public speaking even important and how does it help us? So, if you do master the art of public speaking, well, firstly, it builds a lot of confidence. And that with that confidence, you can actually speak in any kind of situation that you are in. You can initiate new conversations with people that you meet. You can initiate discussions in your office, in your workplace. You can deliver presentations confidently. So, that's one major advantage of learning the art of public speaking. Apart from that, it really helps in career advancement. So when you learn how to do public speaking or how to speak confidently, it really helps you in the group discussions, it really helps you in the interviews that you give, because when you are able to articulate your thoughts well, when you are able to communicate your thoughts well, it really creates a good impression and you come across as a professional, right? So this is how public speaking really helps you. And now coming to some of the tips on public speaking and how can you improve your public speaking skills. Well, the very first thing is that you should prepare. Public speaking is not a presentation. Prepare a script for your presentation. Make sure you know what you want to speak on each slide, or participating in group discussions. Make sure you read about the product. If it's a product pitch, make sure you read about the product, you read about the topic very well before you go for the group discussion. So, the idea here is that the more you prepare, the more confident you will be. So, I would say that this is my very first tip, and this is something that really works for me. Even when I'm delivering my courses, even when I'm delivering my workshops, I make sure that I prepare. And the moment I prepare, I'm very confident that yes, today I'll be able to deliver this course properly because I've prepared for it and I know what I want to speak. Correct? Coming to my second point, which is use of bullet points when you're speaking. So, whenever you're delivering, I'll tell you what are the different delivery modes that generally people use. First delivery mode is by using cue cards, where people have like some points written on cards and they take it to the stage and they speak. Well, that's okay, but it doesn't look very nice. And why is that? Because it breaks your eye contact with the audience, right? Because when you're looking at the cue cards, you're not looking at your audience, and if you're not making eye contact with them, the audience gets disengaged. The audience will not feel like listening to you. Correct? So, and I'll tell you what generally most of us do, and I'm sure all of you would have done this at least at some point in your career, which is if you have to deliver a presentation, then you look at your presentation behind and then you speak, right? And that's one of the worst delivery modes that you can go for. Again, why is that? Firstly, because when you're looking behind, your back is facing to the audience, and that's not nice. Secondly, because you're reading off from the slide, you're again not making eye contact with your audience. And thirdly, the audience even gets irritated that I can do the reading myself. Say something that's not on the slide, right? So that's again not a good delivery mode to go for. So what should you do? So the ideally the delivery mode that you should be opting for is looking for a brief amount of time on your slide, seeing the next point that you're supposed to deliver, and then looking at your audience, making eye contact with them, and then explaining that point and delivering it. Also, in order to reduce your temptation to read off from the slide, another thing that you can do here is that don't have full sentences on your slides, because when you have full sentences you feel like reading off from the slide. So only have bullet points and only have the key phrases on your slides. The moment you have that, you will just look at that point and then you will look at your audience and engage with them and deliver the content that you're supposed to speak. So the first point that we learned today was first prepare, because the more you prepare the more confidence you get. And secondly, use of bullet points whenever you're delivering a presentation or a speech or participating in group discussions always helps. Okay, so for those of you who joined me right now, I want to share with you that we are starting our course, our last batch for this year on communication skills. So our last batch is going to start on 15th of September. It's a 5-week certification course where we will cover all aspects of communication, whether it's working on your grammar, vocabulary, learning how to initiate conversations with people, participating in group discussions, communicating in interviews, delivering presentations confidently. Basically, every different aspect where you need good communication skills, every professional scenario where you need good English speaking skills, we will be covering everything in that course. So it's going to start on 15th September and you don't want to miss it out. I will share the link here in the chat box for all of you to have a look. Apart from that, I have also linked it in the description below, and it's going to be in the pinned comments as well later on once the live gets over. So you should check that out. Um, Another thing is that we are running a special promo, which is just for the first 20 registrations. So you can use the promo code here, which is wise up 10, and you'll be getting a 10% discount. So I've put all of that in the chat box, and you can have a look. All right, now coming to my third point of how you can improve your public speaking skills, and that is use of personal anecdotes or personal references. When you use personal anecdotes, when you use personal stories, personal experiences, it really captures the attention of the audience and they get engaged immediately. Even if it's a very long presentation you're delivering and people have sort of tuned out, by sharing a personal experience you bring them back to the presentation. In fact, this is something I always apply whenever I'm delivering my courses, whenever I'm delivering my workshops. I make sure that I share my personal experiences. So if it's an interview workshop, I will share my personal interview experiences. If it's a communication skills workshop, I make sure I share what are some of the issues, some of the problems I faced in public speaking, and how did I overcome them. Because the more personal experiences you share, the more your audience is able to relate with you, connect with you. It builds a personal connection with your audience. So, my third tip for you is that whenever you are delivering a public speech or participating in public speaking, try and share a personal anecdote or a personal experience. Okay. Coming to my fourth point and very important point, which is keeping it simple. Now, whenever we are writing an essay, or say for example, whenever you're writing a speech, generally what happens is that we try to incorporate very good academic language. We try to use very good level of vocabulary, use a complex language, right? Because that shows that we have a good command over English. So it's fine when you're doing these things in writing. But when you're speaking, always make sure that you keep it simple. Use short sentences, because when you use short sentences, they are easier to follow. Use simple English language. You don't have to use very complex vocabulary here. So the more simple it is, the more short and to the point it is, it's easier to follow for your audience. Okay, so this is something again you can incorporate in your public speaking techniques. Next one, my fifth point to you would be to not use a lot of filler words. Often, what we do is that unknowingly, unconsciously, we use filler words like yeah, okay, yes, like that, So, these are the kind of filler words that we use. And a lot of the times, we don't even realize it. So, how do we overcome it? I would say the best tip here would be to record yourself. You can either do a simple voice recording and you can hear yourself out, or what you can do is record yourself on a video camera, because when you record yourself, then you understand that okay, these are the mistakes that I'm making that I should not repeat, and then you make conscious efforts to reduce the use of those filler words. Another thing that you should do is that when you're not sure what you want to say next, instead of filling it with some filler word, try and take a pause, wait for a second, think about what you want to speak, and then you can continue speaking. So that's again another tip that I'd like to share with you of how you can reduce the use of filler words whenever you are public speaking. Okay, I have more points written down, so let me quickly share that. And next is, so now I think the idea of public speaking itself is very nerve wracking, right? As I told you, like, how do we start? How do we even start public speaking? So the idea here is to start in smaller groups. Okay, so probably when you're not at all confident, you've prepared a speech, you've prepared a presentation, deliver it to 2 3 people first. When you're confident enough, then you start delivering to groups of 5 to 10, and then you slowly expand and you make it like a group of 40 50, and then you become, you try and approach a group of 100 people. So the idea is to approach it in a stepwise fashion. You first start with smaller groups, and then you expand your groups and you try delivering it to more people, and slowly your confidence will start building up and you will be able to deliver in front of a huge audience and very confidently. I think this is something that even I need to practice, because to be very honest with you, since COVID, I have only been doing online workshops and I've only been doing online courses. So I've gotten very used to delivering things in front of a camera. But today, if you put me in front of 200 people, like generally when I'm doing my live sessions, there are 300, 350 people attending it. But if you actually put me in a room full of 300, 350 people, probably my legs will also start shaking, because I'm completely out of practice. So it's very important to, if you want to get back to it, it's very important that you start with smaller groups. So probably this is what my agenda also is, that I start delivering smaller workshops first to 30 40 people, and then slowly I'll take it on from there. So hopefully I will be doing more online, more offline programs now moving forward. Yes. So, coming to my next tip, that would be about non-verbal communication. So, till now, whatever I've shared with you is about how you can improve your verbal communication, right? Use of bullet points, always preparing, making sure you don't use a lot of filler words, what kind of delivery mode you should go for, how you should keep your language simple and not complicated, correct? So, all these things are about your verbal communication. Now, one very important aspect of presentations is also non-verbal communication. In fact, research says that 55% of your communication takes place through not what you're saying, but through your non-verbal communication. So I would say the most important thing here is your eye contact. So starting with eye contact, imagine when you have like a huge audience in front of you, where there are like 150, 200 people. How are you going to make eye contact with everybody? It's not possible, right? So what you do here is that we break our audience. So what you can do is you can segment your audience into three parts. So first what you do is you look at your right side, say for example. You pick one person from your right side, you make eye contact with them, and then you deliver two, three sentences. That way, the entire audience on your right side will be engaged. Then you do the same thing in front. You pick one person in front, you make eye contact with them, and then you deliver two, three sentences. The audience in front will be engaged. And then you do the same thing on the left side. So when you do this, you will actually be moving from one part of your audience to another and making sure in this way that your entire audience is engaged, no matter how big your audience is. In fact, I would highly recommend that you check out some speeches online and see how leaders are delivering their speeches, and then you will understand that how they engage the audience very well. Yes. So first is eye contact. Second is the use of hand gestures. When you use hand gestures while you're speaking, it really creates an impact. I mean, as you can see, I've also been using some sort of hand gestures throughout this particular conversation, right? So when you're on stage and you're doing public speaking, the best and the most easiest hand gesture to use is the steeple pose. I can't show you here. You have to keep it near your waist, near your stomach. But this is what the steeple pose looks like. You can move around slightly around the stage as well, and you can use the steeple pose and you can deliver the presentation. You really come across as a confident person. Otherwise, sometimes you do have like a presenter in your hand. So if that is there, then with one hand you're changing the slides and with another hand you're explaining. Another few simple areas where you can use hand gestures would be when you have to talk about numbers. So, say for example, you're talking about three things. You can actually show it like this, that I'd like to share three things with you now. First one is this, second one is this, and third one is this. You see, the moment I'm using hand gestures, your attention is immediately going to my fingers, and it's so much more easier to follow. Correct? Otherwise, say for example, if you want to talk something which is in stages, you can say first we started at this level, then we moved on to the second stage, and then finally at this stage, this is what we were able to achieve. You know, so again, when you use hand gestures like this, it really looks impactful. So there are many videos online as well as to how to use hand gestures, so you can check it out. Otherwise, in my communication skills course, which we are starting on this 15th of September, we also talk about body language, hand gestures, and how can you build your confidence in public speaking, in written English communication, and in oral English communication as well. So I've put the link here in the chat box. I've also put it in the description and in the pinned comment. So you should definitely check it out. We are also running a promotion for first 20 registrations. So you can use the promo code WISEUP10. Again, I'm going to put it in the description and the comment. You can check it out and you can enroll yourself. Okay, it's going to be a 5-week certification course, and every week we are going to tackle different forms of communication and we're going to practice together, because communication skills is like driving a car. You can watch as many YouTube videos, you can attend as many lectures, but until and unless you put yourself in the driver's seat, you cannot learn. So with our course, this is the only course where we do not offer recorded sessions, because we strongly believe in live classes and in practice, that you need to practice if you want to improve your communication. So do check out the link in the description and quickly enroll yourselves. I'm so excited to meet you all. And now, coming to my last and final tip here, which again is practicing. So, all the tips that I've shared with you till now, and if I do a quick recap of it, first was to prepare yourselves very well. Then, the use of bullet points and proper delivery mode, making eye contact with your audience and then delivering your presentations. Third was use of personal anecdotes and references. Next was keeping it simple, using a simple language to deliver your presentations, not using filler words, avoiding the use of filler words. how do you start? You start your public speaking skills by you practice your public speaking skills by starting with smaller groups. You start with groups of 2 to 3, then you go on to 5 to 10, then 15 to 20, and then slowly you build your confidence in delivering to larger groups. And finally, use of non-verbal communication when you speak. And my last and the final and the most important tip for you is to practice. Yes, today, if I share again my example with you, I would recommend all of you to go check out the first video that I've put on this channel. It's called How to Write a Research Paper. And you see how I'm delivering my presentation there on the YouTube video. And then you check out my most latest video. You will realize the significant difference over these videos. And how has that happened? It's just happened because of practice. I mean, I've made 100 over 100 videos since then, and every time when I shoot my video, I look at myself, I see what I'm doing wrong, and by observing, I try to work on my mistakes and improve. So practicing is very important, and you do need a platform to practice. You do need a community to practice. So when we are starting this live course on 15th of September, we are providing you with that community, like-minded people like you, all of them who want to improve their communication skills. So we'll bring you all together and we'll make you practice different situations, whether it's communicating in interviews, participating in group discussions, initiating conversations, impromptu public speaking, writing a LinkedIn summary. These are all different aspects that we're going to cover. Writing a formal email. So, whether it's written communication or spoken communication, we are covering everything in the course. It's the last batch that we are running for this year in September. We are not going to have any more batches this year. So, if you really want to work on your communication skills, you should definitely join us for this course. So the link here is put in the chat box. You can have a look. It will help you for your IELTS preparation as well. 100%, I can tell you that. And now for your questions, guys, if you have any doubts, any questions that you'd like to ask, it could be related to communication skills or otherwise. It could be related to study abroad, research writing, Singapore. These are some of the genres on which I make videos. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me now. Anything? No. All right. So, guys, in that case, thank you so much for joining me in the live today. I truly had a great time interacting with you, and I wish you all the very best. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in course. So, thank you so much. Bye, and have a great evening ahead. Bye bye.